Hello, entrepreneurs. Welcome to the Business Coaching and Mentoring Program brought to you by the Maypen Chamber of Commerce and Industry Limited and FHI 360 and sponsored by USAID. Today in session 1, we're going to be looking at an introduction to entrepreneurship and leadership development. And I am Lanicia Roden, your business coach and mentor and facilitator for the session. The first thing that we're going to be looking at today is the 3C's Life Change module. And you can find this activity on page 17 in your program manual. So you're going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to answer these questions that are here in the 3C's Life Change module. The program manual is yours, so feel free to write in it. Feel free to be very honest with yourself when you answer these questions. The questions are for you, they're personal. Your responses are for you. I'm not expecting you to share your responses with me if you don't want to, or to share it with anybody else. So what is the 3C's Life Change module? Part of this exercise is to remind yourself of what makes you feel happy and fulfilled. If you don't make time for what matters to you, how can others value your importance? Answer the following questions as truthful as possible. Remember, you don't have to show this to anybody. This will help you to assess changes you need to make in your life in order to move forward as an individual and as an entrepreneur. So, as I said earlier, you can take about 10 to 15 minutes, or if it takes you longer, to answer the questions. So what are some of the questions? Who am I? Who are you? You're going to respond. How do I think of myself? What do you think of yourself? What are my strengths? For some persons, this is an easy question, while for others it may be difficult. You may have to think about it. For some of you, you may have to ask somebody else to tell you what your strengths are. What are my weaknesses? It's the same. Some persons can easily identify their weaknesses, and for some it is very difficult. When you think of your weaknesses, you want to think about the things that you're not good at. Who do I want to be? Who do you want to be? Why am I here in the world? Do you know why you're here in the world? If you've never thought about it before, you're going to think about it and you're going to write that answer. Why am I in the world? Why do you think you were created? Why am I important? Do you think that you're important? So if you know you're important, you're going to write why. If it is that you are not sure, you can also state that. What is my mission? What is my aim in life? What is my goal? What am I missing in my life? Are you missing anything currently in your life? What's my motivation for wanting to improve my life? Now, people are motivated by different things. Some people are motivated by their children. They want to be able to provide for their children and their families. Some people, it's their parents. They want to be able to take care of their parents, help their parents. For some persons, it's personal. They just want to be successful. So what motivates you? Why are you doing this training? Do you want to earn your own money or provide for your family? So why did you sign up for this program? Why do you agree to participate? Why do you answer the telephone and talk to me about your business when I call you? Why are you going through this training now? Am I afraid of making changes or of taking risk? Do I fear failure or the responsibility that could come with success? So do you fear failure? Some persons will never do anything because they fear failure. Do you? And some persons, they're actually afraid of success because success will come with responsibility, so they don't want that responsibility. Could I embrace change instead of as an adventure? Not many of us like changes. So are you someone who can embrace change? What are the sources of joy? What makes you happy? And then the last question, am I truly happy? Are you truly happy? And in order to be happy, what do you need to change? Is there anything in your life right now that you will need to change? Once you have completed that activity, you can keep it, you can reread it, right? Go over, read it. If you need to change your answers, that's okay. We're going to now look at some of the key terms in entrepreneurship. And the first one that we want to look at is entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is the process of starting a business and taking on the risk or rewards that comes with starting and running the business. So entrepreneurship, it is a process. It is the process of starting a business. And when you start a business, you're actually taking a risk. So you take a risk because you don't know if the business is going to be successful or if it's going to be a failure. And once you take that risk, you may reap some rewards. So if it is a failure, you may have to go back to the drawing board. You may have to start again. You may have to change something. But if it is successful, then you're going to reap the rewards. What are some of the rewards? For most entrepreneurs, the rewards, it's financial, it's money. You make money from your business. In addition to that, for some persons, it's impact. So you're able to change lives. You're able to change your life, the lives of your family. You're able to change the lives of the people you employ. For some persons, you're also changing the life of your customers, where you might be solving their problems. So risk comes with starting a business. The other key term is entrepreneur. Who is an entrepreneur? So an entrepreneur is an individual who has created or started his or her own business in order to make a profit. The entrepreneur is a risk taker, very creative and innovative, and is not afraid of failure. So I want to break that down. So the entrepreneur, you are entrepreneurs. All of you had your business ideas or have business ideas, and you have taken the step to start your own business, right? Now, whether or not you have registered your business, it doesn't matter. You are doing something. So you are an entrepreneur. Some of you have created it from scratch, created the idea from scratch, while some of you are carrying on a business that your parents started. Either way, you are still an entrepreneur and you are in the business to make a profit. So that is important. When you go into business, you go into business to make a profit because the profit is what will sustain the business and yourself. Now, as an entrepreneur, you are a risk taker. You took a risk. You didn't know if the business was going to be profitable or be successful or if it was going to be a failure, right? So you took a risk. Many of you are very creative, so you had brilliant ideas, right? You are creative. You can write songs. You have your clothing store, but you're not just selling any and any clothes, right? You choose the nice ones that you think your customers will be attracted to and that they'll want. And then you're creative in the way that you present it to your customers. You're also very innovative. One of the businesses, from what I remember, is that you are using old clothes and redesigning it to make very fashionable clothing. So that is innovation and that is creativity. And another key thing about the entrepreneur is that you're not afraid of failure. So I'm sure for many of you, when you started, things didn't just take off and be all smooth in the beginning. Things probably did not go so right. In fact, right now, you're probably having a few or experiencing failure. But nonetheless, you're not afraid of failure, so you're still pushing forward and you're using your creativity and your innovativeness in order to find a way to overcome the failure and to be successful. So we want to take a look at the entrepreneurial mindset because as entrepreneurs, you have to have a particular mindset in order to be successful. Before we delve or we go into the entrepreneurial mindset, take a look at the photo on your screen. If you notice the word above it, it says perspective. Look at it. What do you see? What are you seeing? Now, some of you may actually see two faces. can you see the two faces? While some of you may see a vase. Which did you see first? It's all about your perspective. Maybe you had to change your angle. Maybe you have to look deeper. But at the end of the day, you saw something. But which did you see first? Both of you are right. If you saw the face first, it's okay. If you saw the vase first, then it's okay, right? So perspective is important in entrepreneurship because we may not all have the same perspective. But at the end of the day, it's how you see things, and that will affect the entrepreneurial mindset. So what are some of the things that are involved or included in the entrepreneurial mindset? One of the first things is, as an entrepreneur with an entrepreneurial mindset, you're a dreamer. You're somebody who you may sit and daydream, or you may go to bed and you dream about what it is that you want. You have a dream. People have big dreams. Some persons will have small dreams, but you dream. You can sit and imagine and picture what it is that you want for your life. You can picture the business that you want to start. You can picture how you're going to do it. So you're a dreamer. You're not afraid to dream, to think big, to dream about the things that you do not have now. Another thing is that when you dream, the entrepreneur makes a plan. So when you get that big dream, you have a plan. You're going to make a plan to achieve and to accomplish that dream. After making the plan, the entrepreneurial mindset includes becoming a doer. And by doer, it means that you do. So you don't just have the plan and you wait on the plan to, do itself. That doesn't happen. You have to put the work in. You have to take action. So someone with an entrepreneurial mindset is a doer. They like to take action. Another point is that you're persistent. So persistent means that you do not give up easily. Things are not going according to plan, but you're still pushing. You're going to try other ways of doing it. You don't give up easily. You're not afraid of failure, right? So you may start something and it doesn't work, but you find another way to do it. You don't take no for an answer. Someone with an entrepreneurial mindset, they don't take no for an answer. Not so easy. You may talk to someone and say, I want to start this business. Can you help me? And they say no. You know that they can, but you keep going back. And by just going back to this person over and over again, you may find that the person may change their mind. You may want to sell something to someone and they're like, I don't need that. But you keep going to the person, or you go to other people, even though you were getting no's, until you're able to sell one of your product. You see possibilities. So you can imagine and picture that things will happen. You're solutions oriented. So you don't focus on the problem. Yes, there's a problem, but you immediately think of the solution. Okay, there's this problem. What is the solution? So you're solutions oriented. When you're solutions oriented, you are the problem solver. People will come to you. You will survive. You'll thrive. And then a very important factor is that you have a positive attitude. So even when things are not going well, you have a positive attitude as someone with an entrepreneurial mindset. Now we're going to go to another activity, and this activity is the entrepreneurial assessment. You will find this activity on page 17 in your program manual, and the title of the activity is How Entrepreneurial Are You? Have you ever thought of that? How entrepreneurial are you? Are you really an entrepreneur? So I want you to take this quiz to determine if you're really an entrepreneur. So the quiz itself is a guide to help you decide whether you are the type of person who could be a successful entrepreneur. You know that not everybody who says they're an entrepreneur is actually an entrepreneur. right? So this quiz will help you to understand that. What you're going to do is you're going to tick the answer that best describes you. So read all 17 questions and you're either going to tick yes, sometimes, or no. And again, I want you to be as truthful as possible. For each yes, you score 3 points. So you'll have to write the points after you've ticked. For all the yeses that you've selected, you get 3 points. For each sometimes, you're going to get 2 points and 0 for each no. So go through and answer the questions. This may take you maybe 10 minutes or less, right? So let's just quickly go through while you do it. Do you have a strong desire to succeed? Do you think positively? Do you believe in taking chances? Do you get along well with people? Do others turn to you for help in making decisions? Do you plan ahead of time? Do you possess leadership skills? Do you enjoy competition? Do you like to make your own decision? Do you experiment with new ways to do things? Do you examine your mistakes and learn from them? Are you prepared, if needed, to lower your standard of living until your business is firmly established? And by this means you might be accustomed to maybe eating at a restaurant. Are you prepared to, cook at home or stop buying KFC fast food, for example, and and make your own meal at home? Are you prepared to stop spending so much money, for example, on clothes so that you can focus on your business and build your business? Put that money into the business to build it. So that's what it means by lowering your standard of living. Would your family members be supportive and encouraging during demanding times in your business? Do you think you possess the basic skills required to operate a successful business? Would you be willing to work long hours should the business require you to do so? Do you have the willingness and dedication to make sacrifices to reach your goals? And sacrifices could be the long hours that you need to work. It could mean reducing the amount of time that you spend with friends and just focus on your business. And finally, are you willing to invest your savings in your business? Or do you just want other people to invest in your business? Are you willing to use your own money in your business? So once you have answered all the questions, I would say at the side, you can write your scores and then you're going to add up all your scores. When you finish adding your score, you're going to go to page 18 and look at the rating. If you score 50 and over, then that's excellent. It is a perfect score. You are a born entrepreneur. If you are not presently running your own small business, you should definitely start one. The sooner the better. You're on your way to fame and riches. If you score between 40 and 49, then that's very good. You definitely have what it takes to succeed in a small business of your own. So don't hesitate. Your way to business success is wide open. If you score between 30 and 39, good. You have the qualities of a successful entrepreneur. With some weak spots, read the interpretation below to identify your deficiencies, so the areas that you're weak in. You should be able to overcome that deficiency or weakness by either retraining yourself or hiring somebody with the necessary skills. So sometimes we don't have the skill that we need and we may have to hire or even partner with somebody. If you scored between 20 and 29, that's average. So the prospect of your success in a business of your own is questionable. You're not so ready. You have some deficiencies that might outshadow some good traits you have. If you still want to go on with it, be sure to call up all the persistence you can get. You are going to face some tough adversity on the way, so you have a lot of work to do if your score was between 20 and 29. And if your score was 19 and below, then it is unsatisfactory. Forget your dreams of being your own boss. It's not for you. You'd better keep your comfortable and secured job. Why bother with all the risks and hustles of starting a business? So anything under 19 and below, it is low. And the truth is that not everyone is created to be an entrepreneur. Some people are not created to take risks, so they will not do anything, or they aren't able to do anything outside having a 9 to 5 where they show up, they do what other people tell them to do, and they know that they're going to get paid at the end of the month, at the end of the 2 weeks, or at the end of a week, understand, or even a day. Right? Some people do not want to take the risk of trying to go figure it out for themselves. And that's also okay. So it doesn't matter where you are. This is just to give you an idea of how entrepreneurial you are. But if it is that you really want to be an entrepreneur, even if your score was low, it is something that you can work on and that you can develop. We're going to take a look at what we call the personal entrepreneurial characteristics, PECs. Now, there are 9 of them that we're going to be looking at. And the first one is problem solving. So these are characteristics that entrepreneurs have. You're a problem solver. You can explore innovative ways to respond to opportunities. So you see a problem, you easily come up with a solution. Your family has a problem, your friend has a problem, and you are the person who comes up with the solution. You're a problem solver. You're a decision maker. So decision making is another characteristic. You have the ability to make sensible choices even in a stressful environment. So even when it's very stressful, you can make the decision. You're not somebody who's going to sit and wait and say, I don't know. And days pass, weeks, and you didn't make a decision. You are someone who makes decisions easily, right? And not just any decision, but sensible decisions, sensible choices. The third one is you're goal-oriented. So you can envision a desired outcome as well as plan and implement the activities required to achieve it. So in basic terms, you know what you want. You know what you want in your life, you know what you want for your business, and you can picture it. You can picture it, you can plan for it, and you can take action. And when you take action after you have planned, you usually achieve it. So that is what goal-oriented is. Number 4, interpersonal skills. So you have good interpersonal skills. By that, we mean that you can understand the needs and wants of others as well as inspire them. So you communicate well with people. You get along well with people. You understand what they need and you can help them with their need. You can even inspire other people. That is what good interpersonal skills mean. There's some persons in business who they don't have good interpersonal skills. They don't have good people skills. We call it people skills. So they're not sure. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to solve people's problems. A good characteristic, or one of the characteristics of an entrepreneur, is good interpersonal skills, because you will have to encounter and interact with people. You're going to interact with your customers, you might interact with your business partners, you have to interact with suppliers, you're going to interact with people. Number 5, persistence. You can firmly pursue goals regardless of the energy and commitment required. So even when it gets difficult, even when it becomes hard, you're still going forward. Even when you stumble, even when you fall, you're going to get up and you're going to go again. You are persistent. Risk taking. You are a risk taker as an entrepreneur. You can abandon status quo, explore options, and pursue opportunities. So what does it mean to abandon status quo? So you're not going with the norm. You're not doing what everybody is doing or what everybody expects you to do, right? You're being creative, you're being innovative, you're not afraid to try something new, something different, right? You're going to explore your options and you're going to go ahead and pursue these opportunities. You are a risk taker. 7, communication. You can speak, listen, and write effectively. Communication skills are very important as for entrepreneurs. You must be able to communicate. So you must be able to share clearly what your business is. Somebody asks you, what are you doing? You can tell them what your business does. What are you selling? You're not only speaking, but you must also listen. You have to listen to what your customers want. When they say, oh, I didn't like the packaging, right? The food didn't taste good today. Are you going to listen and then go make the necessary changes? So you are able to speak, listen, and also write. And by writing, it doesn't mean that you have to be any expert or to write a book, but you can write. And if you can't write effectively, then guess what? You can get somebody to help you, right? But communication is very important. You should be able to speak clearly or to tell somebody what to write if you don't like the writing part. 8, self-confidence. Self-confidence means believe in your own ideas and abilities, and you convey that belief to others. You have to have self-confidence as an entrepreneur. If you do not believe in yourself and your own ideas, then other people won't. So you have a business idea and you believe that it's going to work. And when you believe that it's going to work, you're going to put in the work to make it work. And then you're going to convince other people because you believe. But if you're unsure, then people won't believe in you. They won't want to come and support you because you do not believe in yourself. And the final one that we look at is leadership. An entrepreneur is a leader. You must have good leadership qualities. You can direct others effectively and empower their performance, right? So as an entrepreneur, eventually you're going to lead. Even if you start your business and you're the only person in business, once your business is growing, you cannot do it by yourself. You cannot always be the head cook and bottle washer, as they say. You may start out on your own, but if you want your business to grow, and as it grows, you're going to employ others to work with you. How are you leading them? How are you directing them? How are you empowering them to do what they're supposed to do and to do it well? We're going to be looking at leadership in more detail shortly. But these are the 9 personal entrepreneurial characteristics that entrepreneurs should have. So you can go over them and you can, do some introspection, ask yourself and identify the ones that you have, the ones that you are strong in, and identify the ones that you're not so strong in, and try to improve on those. So we're going to jump a little to idea generation and screening. And by idea generation and screening, so all of you, I know you have your business ideas. Some of you have changed businesses since you started the program, and some of you might even change businesses again, right? But you all have business ideas. But what if you didn't have a business idea? There are ways to generate ideas. And even if you have your business ideas, you may still want to, generate new ideas to build on that idea. So we are going to look at the process of idea generation and screening. And by screening, we mean how do you narrow it down to that idea that will make your business successful? So 5 areas that we want to look at. The first area is the idea generation. Where do ideas come from? Where do business ideas come from? How did you come up with your business ideas? So generally, people come up with business ideas based on customers and users. So you might hear someone in your community or in your family complain about something. You might go in a store and you hear people complain about the service, or that the store doesn't have the product that they want, or the service is not good, right? And when you hear that complaint, it gives you an idea. Oh, but I could do that better, or I could offer that. And so that gives you an idea for business. You could also be the person who is complaining. So you go somewhere, you didn't get the service or the product that you wanted. You're like, I could do this for myself. A lot of persons, even when we think about, let's think about the hair industry or skin. You're using a product on your skin and it's not working. So you decide that you're going to make your own. So you get your own ingredient and you make it and it works for you, so much so that you've decided to make it for others, right? That is how you generated your business idea. Market research. You can also go out there, you may an idea may come to mind and you decide that, okay, I'm going to go out there and check if people would want this. So you might just ask them, or for some persons they will literally put it on paper and then ask. Competitors. You might see somebody doing something and they're not doing it well, so you decide, guess what, I'm going to give this person a competition. I'm going to start that business and I'm going to do it better. Other markets mean that you may see this product or service or business in another country. So in America, or you may see it in even another parish in Jamaica. And you decide, I'm going to do that. So you go to Mandeville, you see something, and you're like, oh, that would work in Clarendon? And so you decide to start that business there, right? So those are some ways that people use to generate ideas. The next thing, after you've generated the ideas, you jump to the step of screening. And screening, remember, in idea generation, you might have had several ideas. So when you go to screening, you want to look at the strengths and weaknesses of each idea. The ideas that you came up with, will this business work for me? Will it work in my community? Will it work in my parish? And you look at the strengths and weaknesses. What do I need in order for this business to work? Do I need a lot of money? You may want to start a restaurant and you realize, oh, but I need so much money to start a restaurant because I need a space. I'll have to buy all the equipment and appliances that to start the restaurant, and I don't have this money. So you're going to write the strengths and weaknesses. You're a good cook or chef, but you don't have the money. So that would be the weakness, but the strength is you're a good chef. Right? So you're going to just write those at that point. Does it fit with your objectives? Objectives mean what vision? Remember the activities that you did earlier. What is the vision for your life? Does this business or will this business fit with what I want to do in my life? Because sometimes we have business ideas, but they don't fit with where we want to go. You also look at market trends. What is trending now? What are people doing? What are people paying money from? Online businesses are trending. So can you create an online business? Clear? And then the final one in screening right here is rough return on investment. So ROI means return on investment estimate. And basically what that means is whatever money you invest in the business, you're going to make a profit. So you're going to be making a profit. If you're not making a profit, then you won't have a good return on investment and the business may not make sense because you might be in debt. So once you have screened the idea, you write all of these things, you think about it, you wait, then you go to what we call the idea evaluation. So from screening, it will help you to now evaluate and to choose. So if you had 5 ideas and you did all of these things in the screening, when you go to idea evaluation, you can now narrow down which one am I going to really evaluate and test. And you can choose that idea based on what you love and also what showed up when you were screening. So the idea that you choose, you're going to evaluate it in a more deeper level, right? So you're going to test the concept. So if you wanted, for example, to start a restaurant where you're selling Jamaican food, right? You're going to test it. You might want to start cooking at home and giving your neighbors some food or your friends and test if I like it. Do they like this, right? What are their reactions? What kind of reactions do you get from them? Did they say, no man, not good, or wow, this is amazing? And also do a rough estimate of the costs, sales and profit. Are they willing to pay for your food that you're preparing? Right? The price that you want to charge, are they willing to pay this? Or do they prefer to go into Maypen Town to get food? Will they buy from you in the community? So you're testing it and you can evaluate it on a deeper level. After you have done that, then you go to the development stage. So based on the results of the evaluation, you go to development. So in development, you're looking at research and development. Do you need to do more research? More research could mean you're going to find out how many people go into Maypen to buy food on a daily basis. How many people buy lunch on a daily basis. And that will help you to determine whether or not you have a market for your product. So if you do your research and you find out, oh, but 50 people in my community goes out to buy food daily, I could make lunches and sell even if it's to 20 of them. That is what you do when you do your research. What kind of food do they want? What did they love? Do they love chicken? Or is it that they want oxtail? Or do they want fish? Or are they vegetarians? Understand? So that is what you're doing in research and development. Then you're going to develop a model or service prototype. By prototype is a mock-up of what you want to do. So you may not have a prototype necessarily for the restaurant, or the prototype could be before you go set up and build a restaurant, you start from your home. You start from your kitchen. You have a stove already, cook from home, right? I shared earlier with you, that's how I started. I had a catering business and I started, in fact, I ran the business for 9 years and I ran it from home and I had large clients, large companies. We did functions from as small as maybe 5 people to 1,000 persons, right? And we ran it from home. So this is a part of your testing before you decide, all right, I'm going to set up a shop. Then you may need to test the market and you may need to revise your plans as needed. So if you need to change anything, you may find that people don't want Jamaican food, they want Chinese, right? They prefer Chinese. Can you mix and blend or do you need to change it? And you also look at your return on investment that we looked at before. And then the final stage after this development and testing and research is commercialization. And commercialization is really when you go out there and you are putting your product out there, your business out there, you're putting your final product to market. So your business is now set up, you have a name, you're organized and you're structured, and you know that you are making meals daily for customers. They can get meals from you on a daily basis. Your business is legit. Your business is set up, it's formal. So you start production, you market, you make some flyers, or you send out some WhatsApp messages with the menu, the price, right? You roll out in your selected market. So it could be that you're serving your community, you could be serving other communities, you could be serving other parishes. And this is where in commercialization, this is where you're selling. So you're offering your product or your service and you're making money from it. So that is an example of how you can move from idea generation to actually launching your business. And that entire process is called idea generation and screening. We're going to take a look at another activity from your manual. This time we're going to go to page 20, and on page 20 you're going to see what is called the product and service scampering. So it's a scampering exercise, and scamper is really an acronym. Each letter, SCAMPER, has a meaning, and we're going to go through it. So usually for scampering, it's a way to turn one thing, whether a product or a service, into something else. So you may have something old that you're no longer using and you want to create it or make it into something else. Once you do that, then you call it scamper. And it is important in business because sometimes that is how people get business ideas. That is how people create products. That is why you see you have different models of cars, different models of phones, different models of laptops, whatever it is. Even something as simple as a pen. Understand? So scampering is an exercise that can help you to create business ideas or to change something that you have and make it into something else. I mentioned the business earlier. The business that this gentleman, he's taking his old jeans, his old clothes, he's cutting them, adding different patterns and colors, and he's making fashionable clothing. That is an example of a product that is scampered. So let us just go through the scampering exercise. So what does the S mean? S means substitute. So what I want you to do firstly is find something, anything that is close to you in your house or wherever you are. Just find something, you're going to take it up. So So if it is a pen that you have, right, you're going to hold it, look at it. And I want you to you can write the name of the item at the top in your manual. And the first thing that you're going to do is substitute. What else can I use this pen for? So a pen is created and made for writing. But can I use it for anything else? Could I use the pen as a rubber? Could I use the pen as a bookmarker? Right? What else can I use the pen for? Who else can be involved instead? What other ingredients or materials or power sources can I use? Where else could I do this? So those are some questions. All the questions may not relate to the item that you have, but these are some questions that you can have, right, to help you. So once you've identified how else you can use the thing that you have in your hand, you're going to go to C, combine. How could I put two or more things together? So I have this pen. What could I add to the pen to make it into something else? Now I've seen pens with lights, with flashlights. So could my pen be a flashlight? That is combining two things. How could I get two or more results from this? If I can buy a pen and that is a flashlight, then I don't have to go buy a separate flashlight. I may be saving money. Understand? How can I appeal to more people about this? Maybe more people would want a pen that is a flashlight. So if you need to write anything and there's no light, you can turn the light on and you can see and you can write. Right? So that is my example. What do you have in your hand? How can you combine it and add something else to it? The next letter is, and the next word is magnify. So that's the M. How can I make this bigger and more powerful? The thing you have in your hand, how can you make it bigger and more powerful? How could I make my pen bigger and more powerful? Do you remember, I don't know if you're too young, but do you remember those pens that had all different colors? And you could just press the red, press the blue, press the black to get whatever ink. That was making it bigger. They were a little bit fatter, so that was bigger, and they were more powerful in that. Instead of buying 4 different pens, right, 4 different color pens, it's just one pen with all the colors. So you had blue, you had black in case the ink finished. But in addition to that, what if you were a teacher? You saw your teacher, and you know teachers normally mark papers with red ink. So they can write the notes with the blue ink or the black ink, but they have the red ink right there to mark the books. How can I increase performance or appeal? Now, what I did with my pen just now, increase the performance and appeal. Persons don't have to go out and buy 4 pens, they're just buying 1. How can I slow this down or speed it up? So depending on what you chose, can you slow it down? Can you speed it up? We move to the next one. So P, put to other use. What else could I do with this? What did you choose? What else can you do with it? So I told you before, my pen, maybe it could be a bookmarker. My pen is now a flashlight. Right? Can I do anything else with my pen? Who else would be interested in this? Do you think other people would want the pen? Back in the days, those pens were selling. I had one, my friends had one, teachers had one. A lot of people had the pens that had all different colors. Where else could I apply this? Can you apply this to anything else? We're going to the E now, which is eliminate. How can I make this smaller and more precise? So the item that you have, can I make it smaller? What if this pen is too big and I have a very tiny bag or purse? Can't fit in it. I want to put my pen in my book, but it's sticking out, so it's dropping out all the time. Can I make it smaller? I've seen very small pens. I've seen pens that fold. So you fold the pen, so it becomes smaller. It's half the size, half the length. That was making the pen smaller. How can I decrease cost? If I made my pen shorter, maybe I'll pay less to make it because I don't have to use so much material. How can I, again, streamline this? By streamlining it, it means, how do I make it more efficient? think about the product that you have in your hand, the item that you have in your hand. And then the final letter is R, which talks about rearranging. What other layout or order could I use? Can I turn my pen another way? You have to look at it. What do you have in your hand? Can you reorder it? Can you turn it another way? Can you redesign it? How can I look at this from a completely different perspective? Can I look at the pen differently and see a different design? I don't know. How can I solve a different part of the problem? How can I reverse cause and effect? So those are some questions that you can ask. Now what I want you to understand from scampering, the scamper model, you don't have to use all of them. So it could be that for me, all I needed to do with my pen was to magnify it, to make it bigger and more powerful, to increase performance. So all I needed to do was to add other colors to my black pen, and that's it. So when you are doing the scampering model, you don't have to use all the areas. You can choose one, it could be two. If all of them apply, then that's fine. But you can choose one for your product and you can scamper it. And you can do this in your businesses today. So whatever business you're in, look, how can I make my business different? For some of you, how could I make my business bigger and more powerful? If you have a physical clothing store, can you take it online? Online, you're expanding, so it becomes bigger, it becomes more powerful, because people who are not seeing you face to face, especially now with what's happening, people are online. They can buy from you online. Maybe while you're sleeping, people are looking and buying your clothes. It becomes more powerful, it becomes bigger, and your business can now expand and grow. So I want you to take a look at the scampering model and pick one or the areas that apply specifically to your business. All right, so we would have completed part 1. We're going to jump to part 2, which looks at leadership and business success. Now we want to look at the terms leadership and a leader. Leadership is very important in business, and we're going to understand why shortly. But what is leadership? Leadership is the art of motivating a group of people to act toward achieving a common goal. In a business setting, this can mean directing workers and colleagues with a strategy to meet the company's need. So leadership is the art of motivating a group of people, getting people to do what you want, or getting people to achieve a common goal. Look among your friends and look in your family. Are you the leader? Have you ever displayed any sign of or act of leadership where you get people to do something? That is leadership. In your business, if you have employees or people or colleagues, other people that you work with, do you lead them with strategies so that you can achieve your goals? A few persons are in businesses with other people. How do you work together? Do you display any leadership at any point? So we want to look at who is a leader. A leader is a person who leads or commands a group, organization, business, or country. So you're leading other people. You're leading your business. You might lead an organization or the leader of the country. So once you're taking command, once you're giving directions, or you are the person who is at the head of the process, you are a leader. And it's important to note that we have good leaders, but we also have bad leaders. So we want to focus on the good leader who is able to lead others to achieve the goal, especially the goals for your business. Now, leadership and business success, they goes hand in hand. Good leadership goes hand in hand with business success. If you have good leadership, if you're a good leader, then it is more likely that your business will be successful. If you're a bad leader, it is less likely. It is not impossible, but it is less likely. So, what are some of the leadership skills that can actually lead to business success? We want to look at 7 of them. The first one that we want to look at is what we call developing a strategic vision. And don't mind the word strategic, but developing a strategic vision simply means that you must have a vision for your business. Where do you see the business going? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to achieve? And you don't just get up and randomly think of the vision like that. We use the word strategic because it is well thought out, well planned out based on your situation and the situation around you and where you want to go. The second one is that you must communicate clearly. When you have the vision, you have to make it known. You have to be able to tell people what your business is, what your business does, where you want to go. If you're working with others, if you don't communicate clearly, then they're not going to know what to do and where we're going. So clear communication is important. Communicating with your customers, very important. Number 3 is spot and retain the best talent. Now, I mentioned this earlier, team. In your business, when you just start, it's reasonable and it's okay that you are working alone. But if you want your business to grow, and as your business grows, you must get other people to work in the business. But who do you get to work in the business? Are you just going to choose your cousin or your brother, even though they don't have the skill and the talent? No, you want to choose the best people. And you have to be able to keep them. And don't be afraid to employ, hire, or work with people who are smarter than you. In fact, that is what you need. People who are smarter than you, especially in areas that you may not be so smart in, because they will help you to get your business to the next level. Number 4, know how and when to delegate. So when you get these additional people in your business, if you're still doing all the work, then it doesn't make any sense. You must learn how to delegate. Give them tasks to do and monitor them, supervise them. Number 5, lead by example. A good leader leads by example. So you cannot be telling others that, oh, you need to do this, but you're not doing it. You cannot be saying, don't eat out the food in the restaurant, but you are doing it. You're telling your employees, don't do it, but every day you walk in and you're just eating and not recording it. And it is not that a meal is assigned or given to each employee daily. It is outside of that. Someone is in your store and as they feel a little bit hungry, they take up one of the peanuts and eat. If you do that as a CEO all the time, then your workers will think that it's okay to do. Lead by example. Do not do what you don't want other people to do in your business. Number 6 is ask for advice. You don't know everything. We don't know everything. We need advice. But it's important to know who we're asking advice from. Are we seeking advice from people who've never done what we want to do, where we want to go? Are we seeking advice about business from people who've never started a business? So you need to identify the people who you want to ask advice from, and you're going to ask advice. And when you get the advice, it is pointless if you are not going to follow the advice, if it is good advice. So you can look at it, think about it, and if it makes sense, follow it. And then the final skill that can lead to business success is develop leaders. So in order for you to grow and expand your business, you must be developing leaders. So you may have 1 or 2 employees who, are working well, doing well. You want to, mentor them, train them to lead. What if you had to go away for a little while? What if you were not able to work in the business for a few days, a few weeks? Will the business go on without you? If you had developed leaders, then they would be able to make the decisions that are best for the business. And that is what you want to do. Develop leaders so that you do not physically need to be around all the time. What are some of the competencies of a leader? There are 8 competencies that we're just going to go through. And by competencies, it means some of the characteristics, some of the things that a good leader has within them. The first one is integrity, doing the right thing even when nobody's watching. So you're not only doing what is right when people are looking at you, even when you're alone, when you're in the dark, you do the right thing. A good leader has integrity or operates with integrity. Then you have self-discipline. Self-discipline involves controlling any natural tendencies to act out of anger, greed, or selfishness. So you may go to your business place, something is not going right, your employee made a mistake, a customer, said something, but you're not going to lash out at the customer because you are self-disciplined. You're going to control yourself. You're going to deal with it in a good manner. So it may mean you may have to count to 10, or you may have to wait until you're calm. You may have to look over the situation and approach it differently, right? You have to be able to control yourself and display some self-discipline. Self-discipline will also prevent you from acting in greed and selfishness, because sometimes when we act with greed or selfishness, it can destroy us as individuals, and it also destroys our business. The next one is good communication. Do you see how often we're talking about communication and good communication? Very important. Now, leaders are willing to share their ideas and plans with their team and are willing to listen to input and ideas from their teammates. So if you do not share, your team will not know. Your team will not know what to do. Your employees will not know what to do if you did not share with them what the business is about, where you want the business to go, and what you need to accomplish or achieve. You also need to be able to listen. So your employees might have suggestions. They might be the one who deals with the customer and hear the customer feedback, and they're telling to you. But if you decide, no, this is how we are, and we're not going to change, then that may affect the communication. Your employees will not want to tell you anything, and that might prevent you and hinder your business from growing. Sometimes your employees have creative and new ideas that can really advance your business. So communication is very important. If they know that you listen, you share and you listen, they will want to listen to you, and they will also want to share with you. The next competence is trustworthiness. So you have to build trust with everyone in your workplace. You have to trust, right? If you don't trust your employees, then they may not trust you either. And you're going to have difficulties. You won't feel comfortable working. You won't feel happy going to work because there's no trust. Now, it may take a while to build trust. And for some people, they start with their trust meter at 100. And then if somebody proves themselves wrong, it might decrease. On the other hand, some people, they will start it at 50 and then move up. But whichever way you choose, ensure that you have trust. Teamwork. A valuable quality in a leader is their ability to be a team player. Once you're working with others, you must be a team player. If you're not a team player, then you may not get the work that you need to get done. So it's very important. You cannot be on a team and you're doing your own thing and the other team member is doing their own thing. You're going in 2 different directions. Doesn't make sense. Conflict management. Competent leaders know how to manage and reduce conflict in order to preserve a pleasant and productive work environment. Conflict will happen. We're humans, so we'll have conflict in our personal lives and in our business. But how are we managing the conflict and how are we reducing it? So we have to find ways to manage conflict, to reduce it, not to add to it. And that will help us in our lives, in our homes, and it will also help us to have a productive work environment. Nobody wants to go to a work environment or workplace where you know you're going to be battling with whether your boss or your co-workers on a daily basis. No. So you have to, as a good leader, be that mediator, be that person who keeps the peace. Next one is problem solving. Leaders must use their creativity and practical experience to solve problems that arise in the workplace. We've spoken about problem solving before. A problem arises, immediately you think of a solution. Think of a solution, whether it is a problem within the business or it's a problem with the customers or the product that you're offering. Always think of a solution. And the final competence that we want to look at is initiative. Competent leaders see a need and takes the steps necessary to fill it. So by taking initiative, you don't sit and wait until somebody comes to you and say, oh boss, you know you need to do that. You saw it. You see that there's dust at the front of your business. If nobody's around, or even if somebody's around, you see it, you take the broom and you sweep it. Use initiative. Something is not working right and you recognize and you can manage it, or if you can't do it yourself, call somebody else to do it. Very important. I'm going to be sharing a video with you on leadership styles. So we've gone through who is a leader, what is leadership, the competencies and skills of a good leader, and now I want to introduce you to the different leadership styles. What I want you to do while you watch this video is think about yourself and highlight and pick the leadership style that best suits you. And it could be that you're more than one, right? So please watch the video to learn about the leadership styles.
There are 5 leadership styles that we will focus on in our presentation today, each with unique characteristics and various potential applications. Let's go over them briefly. Let's start with autocratic. In this style of leadership, the leader will mostly make important decisions alone without consulting or involving anyone else, and then enforce those decisions upon the organization, basically dictating how work is to be done. Next, we have democratic. A democratic leader focuses on inclusion and collaboration. Before decisions are made, they may approach other members of the team to seek input. They make an effort to make sure everyone's voice is heard. The next leadership style we will be discussing is laissez-faire. This leader gives complete decision-making authority to their team members, trusting that they will perform well with minimal to no oversight. This allows the leader to focus on, well, everything else. There are also transactional leaders. These leaders lay out clear and precise objectives and use incentives such as prizes or bonuses to reward those who meet the criteria. Finally, transformational. This leader acts as a mentor and maintains open communication with team members. They strongly emphasize team building and motivation and try to inspire others to catch the vision of the organization.
All right, so that was a video on the different leadership styles, and you'd have seen right there 5 different leadership styles. Which one stood out for you? Which one do you think you are? If you weren't able to determine that, I'm to ask you to click on this link. I'm also going to put it below in the comments, so you can click on the link and I want you to do this very short quiz to determine your leadership style. So if you didn't figure it out from the video, I want you to just click on the link and do the quiz to see what type of leader you are. Once you have completed the quiz, if you do it online, once you select it, then it is going to calculate your score at the end. And when you get your score, you can scroll further down and then you can read to see if you're autocratic, if you're a transactional leader, if you're more laissez-faire, or if you're a transformational leader, right? And then you can decide, am I happy with the leadership style or the leader I am? Or do I need to, make some adjustments? And you may find that each of us, we might actually be a little bit of more than one. So you may have some sort of transformational leadership skills in you. So you're more transformational leader, but sometimes you may have to make decisions on your own. And that is usually for someone who has a autocratic leadership style. But sometimes it is necessary to make decisions on your own. So generally, most of us are not just one. Yes, there are leadership styles that better suit different environment. So sometimes we also have to move from one leadership style to the next, depending on the situation and the business that we're in. So we have come to the end of the session. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. You can place your questions in the comments, or you can reach out to me and send me your questions, whether on WhatsApp, or you can save your questions for our next session. But I would love to hear from you. I hope that you have learned a lot this session about entrepreneurship, what it is, the characteristics of an entrepreneur, and you've also learned a lot about leadership, what it takes to be a good leader, and how being a good leader can affect the success of your business. And I also hope that you would have discovered and learned a little bit more about yourself in terms of your entrepreneurial characteristics or skills, and also about the kind of leader that you are. So thank you so much for joining the session, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in our next session. Have a great one. Thank you.